I introduced these products to my father-in-law because my father-in-law has been a very successful businessman, but he has experienced some incredible pains lately. Couldn't sleep, got up to go to the bathroom numerous times a night, and he talked to me about it. And I said, you know what? I have Engaged Global Products over here. I said, why don't we just go ahead and try them with you? And as a result, I gave him some of the basic products, which was Micro Daily, CBD, as well as probiotic. And within about 3 days, my father-in-law woke up in the morning, he came to me and he says, what did you give me? He said, all these pain medications I'm on, I got no relief from them. He said, but I've been taking these products and I've been sleeping all night. I don't get up to go to the restroom. He said, Teddy, that's my name over here, Teddy. Said, Teddy, you have introduced something to me that I cannot believe these products are working as well as they are. And I've introduced them to actually a number of other people in South Africa. That's hard to get the product, but all of them said, we don't know how you found these products, but to us, these products have done things for us that we've never seen before. So tonight, you're going to hear some scientific validity as to why our products are the best, in my opinion, on the market. You're going to get some information that's going to allow you to actually have a better quality of life when it comes to pain and chronic pain and inflammatory conditions. So tonight, we're going to give our attention to Jonathan Jones. He's going to be our host. And you've already met Dr. Kedar Prasad, as well as we have our wonderful host. We have a wonderful people that's assisting us with the program. Give them our undivided attention as they cover the subject, chronic pain and inflammatory conditions, micronutrients role when it comes to these things. Jonathan, take it away.
Thank you very much, Bernard. We certainly appreciate all you bring and that amazing story that you just shared with us. Just fantastic. It's nice to hear that your family is getting benefits like that.
Jonathan, they are just blown away, and he's sending messages that he's doing things that he has not done in the last few years. So these products are absolutely the real deal.
Well, and I think we're hearing that and seeing evidence of that over and over and over again. And I think that it's important for us to make sure that everybody gets to understand why this is the case, and why, even though in many cases people have heard stories before, they've heard all kinds of things before. And sometimes they even say to themselves, they just kind of mockingly go, blah, 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 blah. I've heard that before. Tell me something I haven't seen or heard before. But we're going to, try to just pinpoint some reasons as to why this could be the case. For the record, today is Sunday, and it's January. I'm stuck in a time loop warp here. It's April the 23rd, and the year is really flying away. So it's about just a few minutes after 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So I'm not sure if you all can still hear me okay. But before we begin our discussion, we'd like to just try to make it clear that as you hear testimonials, just understand that they're anecdotal. What we're saying here today has not been evaluated by the FDA. So results are atypical. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. Engage makes no claims that Micro Daily or any of the Engage Global products will cure, treat, or heal any disease. So please keep that in mind as we begin our discussion. But before we introduce and explanations as to why Bernard's father-in-law got the results that he got, understand something, that it's not a problem that's isolated to South Africa. It's not a problem that's isolated to your neck of the woods. In fact, we have 74 connections on right now, and probably 10 or 20 that are viewing us on live stream on YouTube. If you could raise your digital hand right now, if you suffer from chronic pain of any kind, raise your digital hand. And if you know someone very close to you that's affected by chronic pain or inflammation, raise your digital hand. And then if I'm looking at my screen right now, so if someone can just kind of take a little bit of a head count there, what do you see? Oh, I see. It's a total of 20 people so far. 20, 24, 23.
It's just a bunch of them, Jonathan. The hands are going up all over the place.
Makes sense to me.
Okay. So right now, it's about 1/3 of this audience right now that has their hand up that's affected. And that really kind of speaks to the statistics. So I asked the artificial intelligence associated with Bing to give me the latest information on it. And it found this study that was done some years back now that said that somewhere in the area of, what's that? That's close to 50 million adults suffer with pain every single day. It went on to describe the number of people, the percentages of people who within the last 90 days have had what they call some severe pain. You see that? And part of this article that we're looking at here says nearly 40 million adults experience severe levels of pain. Severe levels of pain. Now, I don't think I really truly know what severe levels of pain is. And I don't think that I could personally explain what severe levels of pain is. I can tell you that yesterday I was driving my car and I went to make a right-hand turn and I winced with a pain that I don't recall having in a long, long time, right there in my wrist. And then you know what I remembered? I remembered that I had not taken the correct dose of microdaily that day. In fact, I skipped it. I was in a hurry that day. So I told my wife, I said, this pain just shot down my hand right here. And so I went in, I made sure I took 4 capsules of microdaily. And then I received, I took some hydro. Actually, it was EMF that I took. And I drank that down. And today I feel absolutely nothing. I drove today with no problems whatsoever. In fact, I'm doing this completely. Whereas yesterday, there was no way I would rotate my hand that way. So that's not my only pain story. But again, I've never had severe pain. I'm 61. And I can't say I've ever had severe pain, but I know what pain is like. My left knee, my right toe, my wrist, I just told you. So when I've taken micronutrients, those problems simply aren't there. But Jeff also is one of our co-hosts. Jeff interviewed someone who described their severe pain levels at one time. So Jeff, do you have that story of someone who had severe pain? And are you in a position to share that with us?
Yes, Jonathan, I'm ready to go with that. If it's if now's a good time to share it, I'd be honored.
Yeah, I think we should share that story, and then I'd like to introduce Dr. Prasad and get his perspective on this matter of chronic pain and inflammation. So please go ahead, Jeff, share that with us.
Okay, and just a little bit of backstory on this. This young lady's name is Melissa, and this goes back several years to when we were still referring to the product as military micronutrient formulation. On I believe it was a Tuesday night, we'd opened up the corporate office and we were having just people come on one of the evenings and talk about the incredible experiences that they were having. And so she is standing up in front of a group. There's probably 18 to 20 of us or so in some seating there at the corporate office. Just held up my phone and as you start to listen to this story, somebody with chronic pain wants you to understand just how much it has impacted their life. And so she takes a bit of time going back and detailing different events in her life that led her to this point where she had no other place to turn. And just like was shared with us tonight with Bernard's father-in-law, and where he just did not even want to live any longer. I really feel like that you'll connect with Melissa as she shares where she was before these incredible micronutrients came into her life, and was actually shared with her by her father. So let me just share this one. And once again, it's about 8 minutes, but you'll get a real good understanding. As young as Melissa is, even somebody going through what should be the best time of her life, it wasn't going so well. So here's Melissa.
Okay. My name's Melissa. I have been taking MMF for 2.5 months now, and it has changed my life, night and day difference. My whole life, I've always been the kid that's always been sick, who always gets the colds, and I suffered from migraine headaches since I was 11 years old. And so severely that I would miss school. I wouldn't be able to drive. I wouldn't be able to really do anything but lay in bed. And when I was 17, I was diagnosed with endometriosis and ovarian cysts. So severely that they wanted to give me a partial hysterectomy at 17 years old. And thank goodness my mom said no. And so I just stuck it out, dealt with a lot of pain, and missed a lot of school because of it. In 2006, I was lucky enough to have a baby. So that was great. And 6 weeks after I had her, they found cervical cancer. For 4 years. For 4 years, I fought that. Having different surgeries, cutting it out, always to have it come back. Finally, in 2010, I had a partial hysterectomy. And you would think that that would get rid of a lot of the pain, but it didn't. I had so much pain that I would get trigger points, which is when your nerve endings pop out of your muscles. And my whole abdomen would be covered with sometimes 25 to 30 trigger points at a time, that I would have to go every 2 weeks to get injections to numb them, just so I could wear clothes so that it wouldn't hurt. And I did that for a long time. My whole life, actually, up until last month. I was supposed to go get them again, and after I started taking MMF, all my trigger points went away. So hallelujah for that. 2013, I got really sick, where every morning I would wake up as if I had morning sickness, or that I was on a boat, and I would constantly feel like I was rocking, and I was always dizzy. I would stand up and I'd get dizzy and lightheaded, and would have to sit back down or lay back down. And spent a lot of time on the bathroom floor, because I would be so sick that I couldn't keep anything down. I would just always be throwing up every single day, going to doctors, and no one could tell me what was wrong. So many tests, every test you can imagine. And no one could tell me anything other than, I'm sorry, you just throw up a lot. And that's not fun. So I struggle with that. And my husband, thank goodness, he's a great guy, because he had to take care of everything that I couldn't do. Like my kids, I'd wake up in the morning, I'd get our daughter ready for school. I'd take her to school, I'd come home, and I'd go right back to sleep because I couldn't function. My body was in so much pain all the time. Even just to wear clothes or comb my hair. I had to depend on a lot of people to just do regular things like clean the house or do laundry, cook dinner, pick up my kids from school. And my dad was actually the one that introduced MMF to me in September, after months and months of me telling him, don't come over. He would call me wanting to come over and hang out or see me. And I was just like, you can't come over. I don't feel good. I just don't want to see anybody. Just don't come over. Don't come over. And after months and months of me telling him not to come, he's finally like, you don't have a choice. I'm coming over. And so he comes over and he's like, you have to take these pills. You don't have a choice. You're just taking them. I'm like, okay, whatever. Because I mean, I've tried so many things. I have prescriptions, hundreds of them. I've tried supplements after supplements, and nothing's ever worked. So, of course, you're like, this isn't going to work. But I take it anyway. And after about 10 minutes, it makes me sick. So I throw up. I'm like, this isn't going to work. And I laid down and I'm just like, I can't do this. And at that time, I'd given up and decided this is what my life is. And it's really hard when you have a family and young kids and they all want to do things and you can't participate in family activities because you're at home laying in bed because you can't move and you can't leave the house. When you don't feel good, you get anxiety on top of it. And my anxiety caused me to have severe panic attacks where I would get in the car and I couldn't even leave my driveway because it was just so much stress of not knowing what was going to happen when you left your house or how far you could make it, that you just don't go anywhere. And you shut out everybody in your life and you just isolate. And I did that for about 2.5 years. And when my dad finally brought me over MMF, I tried it. And the next morning it was like night and day difference. I woke up with energy. I sat up in my bed and I wasn't dizzy. I was like, oh my gosh, is this really happening? And that was the first day I didn't throw up in 2.5 years. And now it's been 2.5 months. And that is a miracle. But not only that, right after I had Samantha, it was probably 6 months after I had her, maybe 4 months after I had her, we were in a car accident. We were rear-ended. And I got severe whiplash, and it caused me to have an allergy to citrus, where even if someone peeled an orange in the hallway and a breeze of it came in here, within 5 minutes, I would be having a stroke. My body would shut down. I'd get severe migraine. My eyes would go in and out of focus. I would throw up. I couldn't talk. I couldn't move. Half my body was paralyzed. And that's just from the smell of it. If I got it on my hands, it happened faster. If it was in my food, it was instant. So I would spend a lot of time in the emergency room if that happened, because citrus is in everything. In every store you walk into, every bathroom, soap. Restaurants, my family would go in first, scoping out tables to make sure that I could even go into a restaurant. And after taking MMF, I can say I am citrus allergy free. I can drink orange juice every day and eat oranges, and my kids couldn't be happier since it's been 9 years since they've been able to enjoy an orange. So they're really happy about that. And my family is just happy to have their mom back. Yes, you could say I feel like I have my whole life back. I am not sick anymore. I have so much energy. My allergy is gone, so I can go in a restaurant and not have to work, which is nice. And I can just be me, which is what everybody wants.
So, yeah, several times she referenced MMF, military micronutrient formulation. And
That's an amazing story.
Wow.
Sometimes I can't believe that product is producing that kind of effect so
Wow.
quickly.
That is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely
That's
phenomenal.
absolutely phenomenal.
And Jeff, we thank you definitely for that one, and thank you for sharing that story.
I think
Which kind of brings us to this one to the next portion, of our discussion, just to kind of set this up. And Jeff, that one really lays the foundation for us. We can talk all day long about statistics and how many millions of people suffer with chronic pain and chronic inflammation, but it's a story like that puts it in real terms, and now it has real life consequences to someone. So let's now go ahead and officially bring in the formulator of that phenomenal product that woman was just talking about. She referred to it as MMF, and that was the original name, but it's a micronutrient that was formulated by this amazing gentleman that you're looking at right now. We have the privilege of having him here with us today. So we can't wait to hear his thoughts and expressions on that story and how and why it's even possible that a micronutrient can have such a huge impact. But let me just not delay this any longer. This is Dr. Kedar Prasad. Dr. Prasad was professor of University of Colorado School of Medicine for 30 years. So he's not Dr. Prasad, he's Professor Prasad. He was also a member of the British Society of Medicine, Nobel Peace Prize-nominated committee member in the candidates of medicine. So when it comes to of knowing medicines and drugs and nutrients that affect the human body, this is the man who leads the pack when it comes to that. He was the world's first radiation biology PhD. His products have been awarded 7 U.S. patents on micronutrients. He's the one who discovered the anti-cancer potency of vitamin E succinate. He also discovered that the butyric acid, a small fatty acid formed by the fermentation of fibers in the gut, has anti-cancer properties to it. So if you had to have someone formulating products for your company, formulating products for your family, formulating product for someone that you care about, formulating products for you, you would want them to have this kind of a resume, not someone who just came out of college and learned how to spell the words formulate products and was hoping to develop something. His entire life is now poured into every capsule of what's now called Microdaily. Dr. Prasad also co-authored 32 books. This is 29 of them that we're looking at on the screen right now. His latest book is Dementia Memory Loss. It's an educational book written for the public, and it provides easy to follow guidelines on how to avoid the risk of memory loss. It also provides recent scientific information on how to reduce the risk of memory loss and how to improve current drug treatment with the help of micronutrients. You can get it on Amazon. There it is on the left, and there's the URL on the left, or you just take a screenshot. And I highly recommend you just take a screenshot right now and get those 2 books while you still can. In case some of you are wondering what books are, I know that our audience knows what books are. We have a more mature and adult audience here. Some young people don't have a clue what a book is nowadays. I'm exaggerating a little bit there, just to get your attention. But one of his older books there, the one on fighting cancer, is still available on Amazon. And he has a new one in the pipeline on how micronutrients have an impact on diabetes. So we'll be looking forward to getting that coming soon. So it is my pleasure, my privilege to introduce to our discussion now Dr. Kedar Prasad. Dr. Prasad, we can't thank you enough for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us on Sunday afternoons, time away from your family, because we want to hear what you've got to say. You've heard that story, and I know you were jumping out of your seat.
It's an amazing story. I mean, just heartwarming for me. Another story that I just heard from Beth, one woman who was a pilot for many, many years, and it became so sick from all kind of things that you exposed to while you were traveling. And she was especially sensitive And she was almost give up. She left the job, and it was just problem. And once she started taking our product, Microdaily EMF, suddenly everything reversed back to normal, and she rejoined it. She resigned from them. She was so sick, she couldn't do it.
Wow.
And I said, and then she described detail what kind of problems she has. And then suddenly she said after a month, now she's back to what she enjoyed very much, flying in the plane. And so she was hostess there, and in 757 and 67 and so on. So there was another very heartwarming story today. So I heard about 2-3 today.
That's incredible. So Dr. Prasad, our theme here is micronutrients' role in inflammation, chronic pain and inflammation. I sent out a blast to my group saying that we're going to be talking about chronic inflammation and chronic pain, that there is an answer.
Yes.
So can you tell us the story you just shared and the one that Bernard, that first person story, this woman telling her own personal story.
Right.
Please help us understand, what's the connection? How deep does this go scientifically?
Scientific, yeah, it is. First, the way we are, the antioxidant that we have micronutrient in our formulation is supposed to work, is that reduces oxidative stress and inflammation. Now, the question is that you have to ask question, why inflammation? Inflammation, as you know, is the major reason why it causes acute pain or even chronic pain. So what inflammation, where inflammation comes from? Well, there are two sources of inflammation. First, if you have a damage by free radical to your cell, for example, and if they can't repair it, then chronic inflammation sets in motion. In other words, your immune system has started producing a lot of toxic chemicals instead of producing beneficial effect. And so then what happens? Then these becomes, then the inflammation also, chronic inflammation also produce a lot of free radicals. So it becomes almost interlinked together. So that's one way. And then if you don't do something,
hold on, you're saying then that the immune system responding to damage to a cell becomes part of the problem.
Yeah, exactly. Because what happens, you cannot heal it. That means immune system tried to heal the injured place, and immune system can't heal it. And then they started producing a lot of toxic chemicals.
Oh, wow. So the toxic chemicals contribute to the problem and make inflammation worse.
Yes. And then inflammation, chronic inflammation also start producing not only additional free radicals damage, but also a lot of other toxic chemicals like pro-inflammatory cytokines, adhesion molecules. They're all toxic chemicals.
Wow.
And so to certain amount, body can handle it, but when it gets exceed to your defense system, then you start suffering pain. So what micronutrient does, and then another source of infection is, which is not in terms of chronic, it is acute one, which is independent of damage produced by free radical, is the infection. If you have infection, then they will produce inflammation first, because your immune system is trying to fight the bacterial infection or viral infection. But while doing so, they're also producing a lot of free radical to kill the bacteria. And so in that case, it becomes a first issue, inflammation occurs first. But in general, a regular person, when you are growing old or even young, and you have inflammation, you have free radical damage produced by some other sources, like in this case of woman, she has all kind of health issue right from the beginning, young woman. And anytime you have a problem, that means the damage produced by free radical is not being healed. And so you have a chronic inflammation, and chronic inflammation is the more responsible. So what Microdaily does, or EMF did it, that they calm down not only free radical damage or oxidative damage, but also damage produced by inflammation. And that's the reason that you feel. And then additional function of has been created recently, was that it also antioxidant prevents the toxicity of glutamate. Many times if your body got messed up, they also start releasing another toxic chemicals like glutamate.
Oh,
And
wow.
glutamate is extremely toxic.
Hmm.
And so some of these antioxidants can prevent the release of not only release of toxicity and the glutamate, but also if they have already accumulated in your system, they will prevent that toxicity.
Wow.
So so the disease, and also I want to stress that many function that we thought we knew everything about antioxidant or micronutrient, but we still have a lot of things. The way I wish I had a laboratory, because the way new information is coming out, I could have tested some additional hypotheses. But like, tissue modification, you knew from heart data, Dr. Jeff Boone data, that they prevented the growth of the thickness of the carotid artery. I mean, this is unrelated to what we know about it. But it is also possible that everything is initiated by oxidative damage and free radical. We don't know for sure, but the fact that they are having a benefit, that one way we can explain very easily, that it is our product is so good. And there is another product that they were saying that she was taking all kind of supplement in
everything.
Yeah, because they don't have it. First, the dose is not enough. First, they put some arbitrarily, they put some herbal things, complicated procedure. Looks like a lot of things there, but none of them isn't good.
Right. This is amazing, Dr. Prasad. Dr. Nakuzi repeatedly has been saying, does your formula have an impact on nitric oxide? Because some of the research that he's doing right now is showing nitric oxide is connected to so many different things. Is it possible, like you said, that
nitric oxide is also, when it combines with these nitrogen-derived free radicals, they produce a lot of additional free radicals. So nitric oxide is important for example, for vasodilation,
Yes.
But also in the presence of other kind of material, free radicals, they produce a very deadly free radical called peroxynitrite. Mm-hmm. And this is the nitrogen-derived one, but it is nitric oxide combined. So if you have excessive production of nitric oxide, that is also not good.
Right.
But certain amount of nitric oxide is very good for your vasodilation, so that blood flow can go around, irrigate your all organ system nicely. And so, but excessive amount, just like free radical, certain amount of free radical is very necessary for you, but excess amount of slight excess, which can take over your own defense system, then it is dangerous.
That's incredible. So then, going back to Michelle's story, she starts this whole thing describing the kinds of pain that, especially from a man's point of view, that we can't even comprehend. Endometriosis.
No, it can't.
Debilitating.
She didn't do anything, and plus she was taking a lot of medication.
She's taking medications designed to ameliorate it.
And those medications have a toxic effect that aggravate your system more.
So how come she was getting no results from that, but then all of a sudden
she might have got some transient effect, for a day or two,
right?
But just almost like a diabetic medications.
Right.
You start with one medication, metformin, and as you grow, become resistant, then you put second class then third class. There are 6 different classes of diabetic medicine, and all have some toxicity.
Right.
And so I mean, for an acute case, it's okay to take medication, but in her case, it was probably not, But if you have nothing else to recommend, if you go to doctor, you have to follow what doctor says. I mean, I don't know many things. If I have some problem that doctor recommends, I thought he will know it. But in any case, even if you are taking a medication, micronutrient does not interfere.
Right. That
is another strength of our product, that it does not interfere. It doesn't have any herbs. It doesn't have heavy metal. It doesn't have this and that. So that's it was so carefully done and tested. So not many products can claim this kind of benefit.
No, I don't think I know of any other product that 100% for fact
Yeah.
won't interact, won't contraindicate with any known
No,
pharmaceutical
no,
drug. So
no,
that's a good
no.
thing. And everyone needs to understand that this is what Dr. Prasad put together is the food that's missing from food.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's just a food product. So if the
It
doctor
is
says
a
don't eat food,
product,
then don't take it.
and you know, it is theoretically, I always say take a good diet. The purpose of the good diet is also to increase your antioxidant level in your body. But you know, to a high level enough to protect you as you grow older. For a young person is okay. As you grow older, that may not be sufficient. But this is good to have extras. So if you take a micronutrient, it's an extra insurance to protect your health.
So what's the association then with, say, probiotics and inflammation, gut inflammation?
What is that?
What's the benefits
Probiotics, yeah.
of probiotics?
Yeah,
gut inflammation?
gut inflammation, yeah. Because again, when you have gut inflammation, it creates a lot of, diarrhea and things like that. And this is caused by the local inflammation, local damage that the immune system could not heal. And this could be produced by a harmful bacteria because of the ratio done. And they start producing a lot of pro-inflammatory cytokines, which will damage not only the intestine, but also other organs in your body, but especially intestine. And so then that's why you have intestinal bowel syndrome, because there's too much inflammation in your gut, especially because of the increase in the number of harmful bacteria in your gut. So when you give it probiotics, where we have beneficial bacteria, then it shifts in favor. So you have more number of beneficial bacteria than harmful bacteria, and therefore issues resolved within certain time, within a month or two, not for long.
That's
and this
pretty good.
Tested clinically. The two products that we have, two strain individually has been tested. One is Bacillus coagulant, and another is Saccharomyces boulardii. These are very acid and heat resistant, and individually they have been tested in human who has suffering from intestinal bowel syndrome, inflammatory bowel syndrome, and they produce fantastic benefits, but they give very high doses for short time. Actually, my wife was taking that. Doctor recommended it. Well, it did some good, but not very good for a long time. And she had been taking for almost 2 years. And so was my granddaughter. And when we developed our product, she started telling that everything was resolved 100%.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So the one that we are all running over to the health food store and buying may or may not have any benefits.
That's right, exactly. And because some of them don't have this acid resistance, and so the only thing sometimes they may have, but the dose is not enough. I looked a lot of things. Most of them don't have any.
Okay.
Bacillus coagulant, or they have a general bifido and lactobacillus strain. They have more strength than we have, but there are total there are about microbe total bacteria in the gut is about 87 trillion microbes are there, which includes mostly bacteria, fungi, yeast, viruses.
Right.
They're all there. But
Right.
they're again in a dormant stage because we have a beneficial bacteria. And this is more than total human body. Total human body, revised one, is only 36 trillion cells in our body. But microintestine is 1 trillion more.
So we're more bacteria than we are human.
yeah, really. And
well, listen, folks, just if you're hearing what Dr. Prasad just said, you can go and waste your money at the store buying all those other expensive probiotics and even some cheap ones. But if you want the right one, Dr. Prasad spent some time identifying the acid-resistant bacteria and the heat-resistant strains of bacteria. When you swallow that one, it's going and doing what it's supposed to do. So just make sure you get the one from Engage Global.
Yeah, and because if you take the other beneficial bacteria like bifido and lactobacillus, 70-80% are destroyed in acid pH of the stomach. And by the time you go in the intestine, then they have to face another acid environment, bile acid. They get more damage. So by the time you lower colon, there are few survivors. So
Yeah.
that's why they are not very effective.
Yeah. So you might as well just put your money in the right place.
Yeah, yeah.
We have one more story that we want to share with you. This one, we're going to just give you the short version of it because you've heard it before, but it may have been a while.
Sure.
But in the context of our discussion right now, you may have an additional comment on it. Now, the part that I'm going to stop it in about the 2-minute mark when she kind of summarizes her story, but she describes exactly what the clinical condition is, and that the doctors had actually put her on a mechanical solution to the problem. Some sort of a neurostimulator. So anyway, I'm curious as to what your thoughts will be on this one. So let's see if we can share Pam's story here. And again, I'm not going to let the whole thing play out because it's kind of a longer story. And then we'll take a few questions from the audience. Let's hear your comments on this.
Yes, Jonathan. Yes, it's Pam. Pam DeVoe.
We'd love for Dr. Prasad to hear your story. Hi, Pam.
Hey, how is everyone?
Very good, very good. Please tell us your story.
I just wanted to say that I started it 23 days ago, and after 21 years of chronic regional pain, fibromyalgia, PAD, peripheral artery disease, to mention just a few, after having a neurostimulator, I just had it's called, I had my L4 and L5 lumbar decompression surgery, tens of thousands of dollars a month for 20 years of medication. Nothing has helped me. And in the last 21 days, microdaily has changed my life. Yesterday, I told some of my friends that one of my favorite things to do in my pastime is to dance. And I did that for the first time in 6 years yesterday. And I cannot believe it. So, Dr. Prasad, I just want to say to you, thank you so very much for your research, your time. And I've, visited hearing you many times and how you're passionate about health and wealth. And I just want to say to you that what I'm just experiencing just in 21 days, I didn't have any hope, but you gave me hope. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much for telling us.
So, Dr. Prasad.
Yeah.
I mean,
is he just taking the micro daily EMF or taking any other product?
Later in the discussion, she said she added in the collagen, and she added in CBD, and the probiotic boost. But everything she was taking was only at the very, very minimum, your recommended dosage. Yeah. How would someone can be experiencing 21 years of chronic pain and take 3 capsules of EMF twice a day with 2 CBD and some collagen daily? Help me understand this out of the side.
Yeah, I think CBD is extremely important that I didn't mention earlier in terms of managing the pain together with micronutrient. And as you know, the CBD also prevents the transmission of pain through a receptor. Because, when you have pain, not only inflammation, but also it is caused by many other factors. But CBD, by calming you down, for example, by increasing the serotonin level, by decreasing the production of glutamate, by increasing the level of dopamine, which makes you happy. All this combination works in your favor, and so you don't feel pain.
Okay.
You see, so CBD also, by adding CBD, the result would be quicker. That's why within 23 days, she is doing, and other lady took a month or 2 to get the full benefit. Some benefit, like, you get quickly within 24 hours, but this kind of benefit probably takes some at least couple of weeks. And CBD was very important to add it. And of course, as you know, probiotics and other things are important too. So
That's amazing.
I'm very extremely happy to see that in such a intense pain condition also, and that micronutrient in combination with all these products is working. See, that had been the fallacy of the clinical medicine, that they, even though disease is highly complex, involves many steps, many molecules, but they use only one agent at a time, one symptom at a time. That's why it cannot handle the optimal health. And, in some cases, it's very important and you should have a medication. But point is that whatever the doctor recommends, this is okay with me. I take few medications that doctor recommends, and then, but I take a medication, like sometimes genetically my cholesterol is high, so I take the cholesterol lowering drug like Lipitor at a very minimal dose, but I take micronutrients. So it is important, but without micronutrient supplement, if you take just many people experience with Lipitor alone, if you take it, some people told me that they detected cognitive dysfunction.
Yeah.
And so some of not everybody have it, but sometimes they do, and especially at high doses. And so if you're taking micronutrient, that would not happen.
Well, it's kind of unnerving. Bob Evans asked the question after seeing these testimonials. His question is medicine failing? Is it becoming insufficient for resolving health issues?
Well, I would say that, it is medicine alone has not resolved it. It helps in temporarily prolong your life so that you don't die. But the quality of life is not the same good. But if you supplement the same medication with micronutrient, you can still prolong your life and enjoy your good life.
Enjoy
good quality life.
life.
So no, I'm not saying that medicine has helped to prolong life, no question about it. But prolonged life, but not a very good quality life in many cases.
Right.
And so if you combine them together, then it can improve their effectiveness. And even in like in case of Alzheimer, you take the example. Right now, the drug, they use it. Oh, that's helpful for a few months. Oh, but that is good for some people who can't remember even one day.
Right.
But then it doesn't work. So it has improved the quality of life for 3-4 months. But if you combine with micronutrient, there is a possibility. Nobody has done experiment as yet. But what we know what happens, why neurons are dying, is because of the increased oxidative stress and inflammation, that your neurons is dying. And when neuron is dead, the drug cannot work. So by combining those together, you can improve the effectiveness, prolong the effectiveness of the drug. So you can have a drug, but it improves also quality of life.
That makes perfect sense. I read an article just recently, Dr. Prasad, that researchers have found that the Alzheimer drug is causing brain atrophy. Is that a bit unnerving?
Yeah, it is unnerving, but they don't use for long term because they become ineffective. But the recent one which has developed an antibody against beta amyloid, that has created a lot of problem. Beta amyloid is a kind of peptide, it's a protein. So some drug company and FDA approved, despite opposition by many scientists, don't approve it, but they approve the drug. It costs $30,000 a year, and it is not as effective.
Mm-hmm.
So that it is possible. But again, if you have a right kind of medication, like in this case, they use the inhibitor of the enzyme which destroy acetylcholine, but for that be effective, your nerve cell has to be alive, because they are the one who producing acetylcholine. If nerve cell is dead, that there is no place for acetylcholine to form.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we know why they are dying it. There is a lot of experimental evidence that inflammation and free radicals are main causes of their death. So with micronutrient, if you stop the free radical damage and inflammation, then you are ahead.
That makes perfect sense. Someone just raised a question, Dr. Prasad, about is it safe to take CBD while on blood pressure medications? That's right in line with what you said, no contraindications.
No, not contraindication at all. And blood pressure medicine is good to control your blood. And if you take a micronutrient, it will further help you.
You chose to put CBD in a capsule rather than to release a tincture. Why did you choose the capsule versus the tincture?
Because it is a highly purified substance, and it is much more easy for a person to take it. And if you make it, sometimes it's available in solution someplace, but they have all kind of other contamination.
Okay.
Our product is highly purified from hemp plant, and it is FDA approved medication for treatment of seizure, and it is non-toxic, and therefore it has no interference with any blood pressure medicine.
So there's no downside to taking it as a capsule versus sublingual?
No, not at all. Not at all. Sublingual, only thing helps if you cannot absorb. If your absorption is zero, then you still can take your powder, because I have never tasted it, but it has probably no taste. Still you can mix it with, say, for example, in some oil or some yogurt and eat it. Still you will be absorbed quickly.
Right. Okay.
Sublingual is just a fancy expression of things that is absorbed more quickly.
Right.
It is not only sublingual, but also if you mix it with some yogurt or some oil and take it, it will be the same thing.
It's going to get into the system no matter what. I can attest to the fact that if I take one, two, if I'm really kind of stressed out and a lot of anxiety going on at night, I'll take two for me to really sleep through the night.
Yeah, that's
no question about it. They work.
I do the same thing. I do also same thing. Especially as you know, older people have one of the problem of sleep, but I never have. And so the dose is like 50 milligram in 2 capsules. And the dose that they have used in a treatment of certain disease is up to 1,000 milligram a day. It's non-toxic.
That's right.
So you don't have to, anything we have product about it, they don't interact, whether it is probiotics, collagen peptide, brain boost, eye boost, no interaction with any medication that you are taking, and you must follow the doctor advice.
That's it. That's a beautiful thing. And please keep that in mind that what's being discussed here today is not, is for information and educational purposes only. This is not intended to be a substitute for visit to your primary healthcare physician. So information.
I go and will check out my doctor.
That's it. Talk to the doctor. Bernard has a question.
Yes, Bernard.
I wanted to bring up something that has come up lately. A number of people have asked the question that when they first start taking the products, it works so well, and then over a period of time, some people have lessened their dosage, believing that the body has adjusted and it doesn't need as much as the recommended dosage over a period of time, or maybe even for a lifetime. What is, just for the sake of everyone on here, what is the importance of making sure we take the correct dosage, and over a period of time, should we reduce them less than what's recommended on your bottles?
No, I think that's not a good idea for the following reason. Clinically, that we have tested in human is full dose, like micro daily in a 2 capsule morning, 2 in the evening. And when we increase the dose in an EMF certain amount, because it was important to do that, and then we have a 3 capsule and 3 in the morning. So these are minimum preventive dose. Even if you are feeling better, you want to feel better for all your life. And therefore, if you reduce it, then by the time body feels that they are deficient in micronutrient, and you may not feel good about it. Because once you get a high dose of, say, any kind of high dose of micronutrient, like not high dose, but I mean, preventive dose we have is more than your diet provides it. And you suddenly withdraw it, say 1/3, and you say, oh, I will use 2 capsules. If you want to take only 2 capsules a day, say micro daily instead of 3, you start right from the beginning and see how you feel. But you can't, once you started at 3, you can't go back to 2 or 1, because then your body will feel as if they have deficiency and they need more.
That would
But
explain.
in the beginning, you can take 1 capsule a day start, and if you're feeling good, then continue 1 capsule or take a 2 capsule. So in the beginning, you can titrate those kind of doses, but not the reverse.
Yeah, and I hope everybody understood that when Dr. Prasad just used the word titrate. So that means make an adjustment according to your situation. Make the adjustment, adjust up.
Right in the beginning.
And then gradually adjust down, but do not go below the recommended amount.
Yeah.
Okay, so
just if you're taking a 4 or 5, for short time, then you gradually can come slowly. But I always recommend, if you have to adjust your doses, you do in the beginning rather not reverse way.
Right. That's it. So just keep that in mind, folks. But the product is, it is what it is. It stands in its merit. I have heard stories, Dr. Prasad, of individuals taking a fraction of what I would have thought that they would need it. I mean, a fraction of the amount that I thought that they would need to get results. And I've been blown away by seeing people get amazing results with taking not enough, what I would consider not to be enough for the product. So your formula works.
Yeah, so, that's why I said that some people, suppose in South Africa, for example, for financial reason, maybe those people should start with 1 capsule a day, and they see if they feel good, then they start 2 capsules a day, and then if doesn't feel, then take a regular dose.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes, finance for some people becomes a limiting factor. And some place like, India, one of my relatives is taking it and he's a doctor. So I said, well, he said that, I think I take a good diet and everything, 2 should be good enough. I said, it's your decision. You are a doctor. And he said that 2 capsules instead of 3 capsules, he's feeling good. So, but again, for me, for American populations where the diet is very poor, generally, I think 3 capsules is the optimal dose for me.
I think you just said something amazing right there, Dr. Prasad, because one of my affiliates sends it to a client in the Philippines, and they're getting out incredible results with just 1 capsule.
Yeah.
1 capsule. In fact, they buy it by the capsule, because the economy is just very different. The economic situation is so different.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said, and also those countries have a better, like in India, they take more vegetarian food, better
less
diet
process.
also.
Yeah, less processed food.
Yeah. And so those countries, that's why I suggested to Bernard in South Africa, they should start like that, in the beginning and see how they feel. And if they don't feel, because they're so deficiency.
That's right.
Even 1 micro daily will have better, because this has all the ingredient that your body needs it. So at least it will improve better than diet alone that they are taking it.
Right.
And some good, but not optimal good. But, how do I know? There is no experiment. We have not done testing in human with less dose.
That's right.
But I think, so some of those things is a good way to try it, especially in developing country like South Africa or India or Philippines,
That's right. That's right. Makes perfect sense. Well, so for everybody who's here with us today, what you want to do is get back with the person who invited you. We've used up our hour. We just wanted to make sure that you now know what to do going forward, how to get the product. We recommend Dr. Prasad's Choice Bundle, and it has all of the main products that we think will be of greatest benefit to someone who's dealing with something called chronic inflammation or chronic pain. The only thing you don't see on here is the CBD, but you can talk to someone about that. And what you could do is, in my recommendation, if you're thinking about pain, you might want to substitute the brain boost and the eye boost for the CBD, in this bundle. So, and you won't get the same bundle, but you just buy the individual pieces. So you want to go 1, 2, 3, and then 4 to get the maximum benefits as far as chronic pain.
Don't forget the probiotics.
Yeah, that's the probiotics is over here on this one. So,
I don't see it yet.
It's not on. That's coming up on the screen, right? So,
that's okay.
Daily, the probiotic boost, collagen daily, and CBD
Yes.
for your chronic pain
Must.
situation.
Yes, must.
If you have no choice whatsoever, and you want to go the absolute least amount of items, then you definitely, what would you say, Dr. Prasad? The probiotic boost and the micro daily would be the
Probiotic boost and micro daily. Yes, those two are must. And CBD.
So as a minimum, you want to go this. Then after that, you want to go ahead and make sure you add in the CBD if your budget will allow for it, and then bring on the collagen. So
CBD.
that's
Yeah.
the real order.
Yeah.
Okay. So there you go, folks. So get back with the person who invited you, and they will help you set up a wholesale account so you get the same discounts that we get as affiliates for the company, with the company. So next week, we'll be talking with Dr. Prasad again next week. And does anyone have the calendar in front of them that can tell us what the theme is of next week's discussion? I didn't pull it up before we began our discussion, but we're over time. That's the reason why I'm kind of wrapping this up, folks. But I want everybody to know what we're talking about on
That was
Sunday.
an iron brain boost.
Ah.
It's written on my calendar. But one thing in May, I want to say that 14th of May, which is Sunday in May, that's Mother's Day. So, so that day will be out for me.
Okay, well, we'll discuss that. But
Okay.
folks, next week we're talking about the brain, the body, and the eyes. So you'll get a chance to hear from Dr. Prasad some of the details behind the formulas that he put together.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
brain, the body, and the eyes. You'll get to hear some of the details about it.
Yes.
Make sure that you're here on Sunday and bring somebody that you care about to the discussion next week. They will be, they'll thank you for it.